So you just got a VR headset, you're super excited, but then that queasy, world-spinning feeling hits you just minutes into a game. You know what I'm talking about. It is so frustrating. And honestly, it's the #1 reason people just shelve their headsets for good. Well, today, we are going to fix that. We're not just going to talk about why it happens, we're giving you 5 practical, science-backed tips to conquer it for good. I mean, picture this. You finally unbox your headset. You're ready to explore these incredible new worlds. But instead of epic quests, you get a wave of dizziness and have to make an emergency trip back to the couch. It's a total bummer, and it might even make you think about putting that thing right back in the box. But hey, hold on, because if that was your experience, you are definitely not alone. So first things first, let's just figure out what is actually going on. That feeling, that kind of VR hangover, it actually has a name. It's called cybersickness. And look, it's not some kind of personal failing or weakness. It's a really well-documented thing, and just understanding it is the very first step to beating it.
No, really, you're not alone. Believe it or not, some studies show that up to 60% of people feel the first hints of cybersickness within just 10 minutes of putting on a headset. So if you've felt it, you're actually in the majority. It's a super common hurdle, but it's one you can absolutely get over.
Do any of these look a little too familiar? That nausea, feeling dizzy, maybe a little disoriented, a headache creeping in, or even breaking into a cold sweat. Yeah, those are all the classic signs. It's basically your body having a very confused reaction to this brand new virtual world, and these are the most common ways it shows up.
So why? Why does this even happen in the first place? Well, it's not random at all. There's actually this fascinating little conflict happening deep inside your brain. The best explanation we have is something called the sensory conflict theory. Now, in simple terms, this just means your brain is getting 2 completely different stories from 2 of its most trusted reporters, your eyes and your inner ear, which, is where your whole sense of balance comes from.
And this right here perfectly illustrates the problem. Your eyes are screaming at your brain, hey, we're moving, we're flying a spaceship at warp speed. But your inner ear, your vestibular system, it's calmly reporting back, no, we are perfectly still, just sitting here on the couch. And it's that massive disagreement that makes your brain kind of freak out and trigger all those sick feelings.
And there's a technical term for this powerful illusion of movement that tricks your eyes. It's called vection. This is the main trigger for that whole sensory conflict we were just talking about. Your brain sees this crazy, intense motion, but it can't match it with the stillness your body is feeling. And that mismatch is what leads to that whole nauseous, disoriented state.
All right. Enough about the problem. Let's get to the good stuff, the solutions. I want you to think of these next 5 tips as your personal toolkit for building a comfortable, amazing VR experience. And every single one is grounded in the science of how your brain actually works. Okay, our first and most important tip. Take baby steps. And I'm serious. Don't try to be a hero and just power through the sickness. It doesn't work. Start with super short sessions. 5, maybe 10 minutes max. And the absolute second you feel that first little hint of queasiness, just stop. Take the headset off, take a real break, and then you can gradually start adding more time over the next few days. And here's the science behind why this is so effective. It's a process called habituation. Just think of it like a sailor getting their sea legs on a boat. Through these repeated short exposures, your brain gradually adapts and literally learns how to deal with that sensory conflict. This is exactly how you build what we call your VR legs. Tip number 2 is all about giving your brain a visual anchor. You'll notice a lot of games do this for you. They'll add something like the cockpit of a spaceship or the dashboard of a car. That stable, non-moving element in your view helps ground your perception. Physiologically, it reduces that powerful sense of vection because it's constantly reminding your brain that some part of your world isn't actually moving. Okay, our third tip is to ground yourself using cues from the actual real world. This is all about reminding your body where it really is, not just where your eyes are telling you it is. And one of the simplest, most effective ways to do this involves a common household item. That's right, just a simple fan. Point it at yourself while you play. That constant breeze gives you a physical, tactile sensation that reinforces your body's true state, that you're sitting still. It's a constant, real-world signal that helps override the visual illusion of movement. And hey, as a bonus, it keeps you cool inside the headset, which is always nice. Tip number 4 is all about being proactive, stopping that nausea before it even has a chance to start. A lot of VR veterans swear by this, and some scientific studies back it up. Ginger.
See, its active compounds are thought to work on receptors in your gut and brain that control nausea. So try taking a ginger supplement or even just eating some candied ginger about an hour or two before you play. It can be a simple way to settle your system in advance. And finally, tip 5. You have to know that not all movement in VR is created equal. The biggest, #1 culprit for motion sickness is usually that artificial smooth movement you control with a joystick. So do yourself a favor, dive into your game settings and look for comfort options. Choose teleportation, where you can just point and click to move, or snap turning to rotate in set chunks. But the best, most comfortable option of all is room scale, where your real-world walking is mirrored in the game. That creates a nearly perfect one-to-one match between what your eyes see and what your body feels.
So when you put this all together, all of these tips are leading to one ultimate goal: developing your VR legs. And this isn't just some hopeful little phrase. It's a very real process of your brain adapting, something it's literally designed to do.
You know, just like getting your sea legs helps you handle the rocking of a boat without feeling sick, getting your VR legs means your brain has finally learned how to process all the unique inputs of VR without triggering that sickness response. It's that magic point where you can just move freely and comfortably, and it's totally achievable with just a little bit of patience. And listen, this is not just anecdotal. The research on this is really clear. There is a definite habituation effect. Study after study shows that with repeated, managed exposure to virtual reality, the intensity of cybersickness symptoms consistently goes down. Your brain is an absolutely incredible adaptation machine. You just have to give it the time and the right conditions to learn the ropes.
So what does this path to comfort actually look like in the real world? It's really important to have realistic expectations, but the good news is, for most people, this doesn't take forever. Not at all. Okay, in your very first session, just be ready to stop early. No big deal. For the first week, focus on those short, consistent sessions, and always listen to your body, and stop when you need to. You'll probably find that within just a few weeks of this gradual process, you've pretty much overcome the worst of the discomfort, and you can finally start enjoying those longer, more immersive VR experiences you've been dreaming about.
So please, don't let that initial bad experience define your relationship with VR. You now have a whole toolkit to manage it and a clear path to getting your VR legs. So the only question left is, where's your next adventure going to take you?